Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the Thanksgiving Fantasy Super Show. Ooh. With me, as always, for the Fantasy Super Show, the Thanksgiving Fantasy Super Show, is the Commish, Clyde Randall Waters, the Stat Man, Petey Cunningham, and Math Boy, Alan Henley. And you may not know this, but he is in the intro, Math Boy, has been for years. In the van scene, there's a shoulder I couldn't quite get out of frame. That's this shoulder right here.
Yep.
Look at it. Look at that shoulder.
There
it's
it
a
is.
good shoulder.
Been with us all along.
That's right.
All right.
Good to be aboard.
We're going to do one super show, bring the family together as you do for Thanksgiving. We're very excited about it. We got a special announcement for you later, and we're going to start off like we do every week for both shows, looking at last week's Mama Matchups of the Week.
Mama Matchups of the Week.
All right, last week's Mama Matchups of the Week were Mr. Clutch's fake football team versus the Scarlet Peeps for the BDL, and the Harrison Bullfrogs, ribbit, versus the Mud Dogs. That's what I think Mud Dog sounds like in the ADL. Statman, why don't you break down Mr. Clutch's fake football team and the Scarlet Peeps? And Math Boy, I'm going to give you the ADL team.
Sounds good.
Unless we want to mix it up and really make it interesting. Now, let's go with it.
I'll stick with the BDL. Man, we picked, this ended up being a just absolute blowout, just like Sunday Night Football ended up being between the Eagles and the Cowboys. Mr. Clutch's fake football team, who he just took it personal that I didn't project him to make the playoffs. He beat my sister badly because of that. Took it out on my sister. 76-point beatdown, 196 to 120. He had it going on. Antonio Brown, 42 on Thursday night. I mean, when somebody scores 40 on a Thursday night, it's just almost like, yeah, I got no shot this week. Also helped out by 38 against that Jacksonville defense going up against the Browns, who are absolutely atrocious. And the Russell Wilson trade. 30-point week again for Russell Wilson.
Woo!
Mr. Clutch made that trade, and it's looking like Russell Wilson's the only player who was stepping up in that trade. He didn't even start Cameron Brate.
How's your sister feeling after this beating? I mean, I know we're not supposed to beat women, but he really beat her.
He beat her bad.
Have you heard from her? Is she okay?
Brutal.
She has not said a word about this. I think she's still in the playoff hunt, but I think she's kind of checked out for the year. Her team isn't quite as dominant. She might have a losing record for the first time in the BDL this year.
Whoa,
history. Man.
Crazy.
So, this was Mr. Clutch's, one of the biggest performances this team has ever had. Matter of fact, it's the 10th highest scoring game in league history for the BDL.
9th if you adjust for punters.
Whoa!
A top 10
That's
score.
right, ADL. We used to have punters,
Yeah.
and it was awesome.
It was
So
awesome.
I popped into Cleve Skyline today for some lunch.
Oh,
Yeah.
There you go.
Saw the owner of Mr. Clutch's fake football team,
He's never there when I'm there.
Bryce.
One Bryce.
himself, and he had this comment for me. We knew we had to defend our home turf.
there you go.
I like it.
All right, let's transition over to the ADL Mama Matchup of the Week. Math Boy, break it down for me, sir.
All right. Well, the Bullfrogs get the win over the Mud Dogs this week, which is a pretty big playoff contention thing there. I think the Mud Dogs are still in the lead of their division.
I
But
want to say mud dogs.
Look.
Mud frogs instead of mud dogs. I do too.
it's so hard.
I feel like a mud frog's the thing.
Yeah, right, me too. Bullfrogs behind a 35-point performance from Ben Roethlisberger and a 40-point performance from Keenan Allen. Keenan Allen came out of nowhere this week. I mean, you know he has it in him to do those big games, but I feel like he's kind of been quiet this year. I feel like maybe San Diego said, hey, let's not get hurt this year. Man, I think in the first half he had like 25 of the 40 points. Mud Dogs, Kenyon Drake just didn't have the same week he had last week and just had some just mediocre performances all over, but they still both scored over 140 points. I mean, there was a lot of scoring in this game, and one team that scored 100, almost 150, lost. That's incredible.
Yeah, no, this matchup.
Pretty rough, isn't it, Commish, when that happens?
Oh, it's
awful.
so rough. Anyways, this matchup definitely lived up to the matchup of the week hype. However, I will say the Harrison Bullfrogs pulled out early and never looked back in their big win over the Mud Dogs. That division, with this win by the Bullfrogs, that division, which is the blue division, remains wide open still.
Well, yeah.
There's like, obviously the Mud Dogs can come back and take it. The Bullfrogs can come back and take it. It is wide open.
Wide open like the Wyoming sky.
Mud Dogs, Fast and Furious, and Bullfrogs, all three are 7-6, leading into the final 2 weeks of the season.
There
So,
we go. That division
wide open.
is wide open.
And still a doubleheader week.
And still
In there.
week coming.
They're wrenching things.
Yeah.
All right,
go.
let's take a
Over
look.
there in the ADL.
Do we got any other matchups across the two leagues that we feel is noteworthy enough to talk about in the Thanksgiving Fantasy Super Show?
Mike, I had one that I wanted to bring up. I think this is the first time in entire BDL history that two teams played each other and their quarterbacks combined for negative points.
What?
I don't know how that can even be possible, but the Chili Slingers played the 69ers in the BDL, and Dak Prescott scored negative 4.4, and Jay Cutler scored 3.42. You combine that, that's basically minus 1 point. Unbelievable.
And now, Statman, correct me if I'm wrong. Again, math boy, Statman, you're the mathematicians. But the goal of this is to get positive points, right?
That is the goal. This is not like golf.
Okay.
Not like golf.
All right.
The incredible thing is, Chili Slingers are 99.9% efficient, starting a negative player.
True. That is actually a true statement.
Well, you do get a lot of efficiency when you only have one quarterback,
Okay,
and you
that's
start
fair.
that quarterback.
That's true.
fair.
But we do need to throw a little shout out to the Chili Slingers. First
Victory!
career win against the 69er franchise.
Right.
I know that the owner of the Chili Slingers was a little excited about that. Second loss for the season for the 69ers. Both to Jordan Howard supporters. I'm just saying.
Not saying, but
He
he's
is
just...
saying.
You're sorry, not sorry?
I'm just throwing it out there. You can catch it if you want. Doesn't matter.
Let's
So-
get one more in the ADL we want to talk
Yeah,
about.
so
Kamish.
in the ADL, I was going to bring up the matchup this week. It was the sister-in-law versus the brother-in-law.
Oh,
That's
man.
right. It was previous BDL, first time ever league champ, Allison Berry, versus her brother-in-law, Mike the Man, and the owner of the Winterfell Direwolves. Well, this matchup wasn't much. The Direwolves have had a struggling season. They're not great, but they're not awful. They're kind of
They're not nearly as bad as the Cincinnati Bourbon Barons. I'll tell you that right now.
or my beloved Black Stags in the video. Anyways, they're like a 500 team. But the Harry Berries, they have been putting together a team all season long. Allison is back in her primo fantasy football performance level. It's not like she's not like beast mode. She's not like what's his face retiring and then coming back.
I'm
and
back,
being
but I just
real-
want more attention, really. I'm not good.
Right.
Marshawn Lynch.
Yeah, exactly. No, she comes back and she's finally putting together another great team. She's now tied for first in the red division with a 9-4 record,
Wow.
going head to head with this guy right here, Math Boy. So we'll see what happens there. It was a great matchup, 168 points to 78 points. discount double up-ish right there.
Super close. Not quite, but super close.
Yeah, solid team put together by Harry Berries, trying to take out the Subliminal.
Direwolves went for that magic zero that we talk about in these leagues here, but the issue is he went with 2 zeros and not just 1. I think that's a big problem.
You got to keep it to 1.
Got to keep it to 1.
And you can't even go negative. It doesn't help you to go negative.
No negative, no positive, 0. It seems to help.
All right. Let's take a look at our awards of the week. And this one's going to be a little bit interesting. Where the awards diverge, we will have a winner for each award this week. Sponsors getting double the awards out here. Let's start off with the Hershey Milk Dud of the Week. This one is very special because it's getting the award in both leagues. That one is going out to who? Statman.
That one's going out to Dak Prescott, who is owned in the BDL by the Skyline Chili Slingers and is owned in the ADL by
the Farty McFart Faces.
There you go.
The Farty McFart Faces.
That name should explain.
Did the Farty McFart Faces win with Dak Prescott?
No.
Okay.
In fact, Steven, I told you I'd beat you again, and I did.
Next
Ouch.
up, we got the
Not but I
Ram Pickup of the Week, brought to you by Ram Trucks. They got wheels, they got a truck bed, they got engines, they can pull things and do things. Who is getting the BDL Ram Pickup of the Week commish?
The BDL Ram Pickup of the Week is Jamal Williams with 13.5 points, picked up and started by Wayne Enterprises.
Nice.
Oh, man.
Little factoid. I didn't even plan on picking up Jamal Williams or Austin Eckler. I just kind of threw in a bid for each of them because I thought someone would go higher. And then I got both of them. So I don't know what that means.
It means some people have given up.
I'll take it.
Next, we got the Ram Pickup of the Week for the ADL. That one is going out to who? Commish.
For the ADL, the Ram Pickup of the Week goes out to Ryan Fitzpatrick, putting up 23.2 points, filling in for Jameis Winston down south. And that was picked up and started by the Black Stags, which is me.
All right.
Nice.
Next, we got the Whoopin' of the Week, brought to you by Mike's Bodega, home of the new product of Andy's Mints. You can get your Andy's Mints and your peppermint patties at Mike's Bodega now.
There you go.
Go ahead, get your mints, get rid of that funky breath. Who is getting the Whoopin' of the Week for the ADL Math Boy?
The whooping of this week is a more than 100-point whooping. The Farty McFart Faces just destroyed the Red Squirrels this week by a score of 177.62 to a 72.26. That is a 105.36 point defeat and a discount double up.
I just want to correct
Double
you.
up.
It wasn't the Farty McFart Faces.
Oh my goodness.
It was
The Fast and the
Fast
Furious.
and Furious.
I'm sorry. Fast and Furious.
Who is owned by and operated by one Mr. Terry Cummings.
Terry Cummings.
The husband of the BDL's previous league champ, Sarah Cummings.
That is
Owner
right.
of the Scarlet Peeps.
I'm sorry, Fast and Furious. Farty McFart Faces are
All right, next up we got the Whoopin' of the Week for the BDL. Who's getting that one, Statman?
A house divided this week. Fast and the Furious, great week, 170-something. Wins the award, the Scarlet Pimps. Back-to-back weeks on the losing end of this award. Mr. Clutch with that 76-point win. I don't know how things look in the Cummings household this week, but I'll bet it ain't pretty.
Oh man.
Oh, man. Next up, we got no close shave of the week in either league, so we're going to the Resurrected Team of the Week, brought to you by Lazarus Department Stores. For the BDL, we're giving it to the Skyline Chili Slingers with a 34-point improvement and a win over current number 1 in the league, the Niners. Way to go, Chili Slingers. I knew you had it in you, and I believe in you, and I love Skyline Chili. I love it a lot. Next up, we got the Resurrected Team of the Week for the ADL, and that is the Fast and the Furious. Getting 2 awards this week with a 100-point win, coming after a losing week. Talk about turning your team around for the better. Now, let's move on to the Poopery Poo-Poo Team of the Week, Double the Poo. We need twice as much poopery just to cover up the stank on these 2 teams. Commish, who is getting the poopery poo-poo team of the week for the ADL, please?
Ooh, in the ADL, it goes out to the Red Squirrels, the team that was on the other end of that 100-point margin victory for the Fast and Furious. The Red Squirrels are owned and operated by one Mr. Morgan Berry.
Oh, a former BDL member.
Yes, only putting up 72 points this week.
And the poopery poo-poo team of the week for the BDL is going out to who? Statman.
This one is going out to maybe the first time ever. I would have to go back and look. The 69ers, who has been number one in the power rankings for, I think, 3 straight weeks.
It is very easy to be number one in the power rankings when you make the power rankings.
You make the power rankings.
But, yes, poopery for the Niners, not good. A little bit of stank on them. We'll see how it goes. Next, we got the surprise player of the week, the breakout performance, brought to you by Proactive. Let your players break out, not your face. That one is going out in the BDL to who, Math Boy?
In the BDL?
In the BDL.
In the BDL, I believe it's the same person in both leagues, but in the BDL, it's Keenan Allen, owned by Los Pandas Desnudos.
Los Pandas Desnudos.
Right.
And for the ADL Math Boy, who owns Keenan Allen?
The Harrison Bullfrogs.
Oh yeah, ribbit.
Ribbit.
Told him at the draft that was a good pick.
Yeah.
All right, now that is our awards of the week for both leagues during the Thanksgiving Fantasy Super Show. Next, we got a special announcement for you by the commish, who's been what have you been doing? You've been managing 2 leagues.
I have been.
And I want to know how it's going.
All right, so yeah. So as you can tell by our combined show today, we've this year expanded under the BDL flag to having a sister league to the BDL, known as the ADL, the American Dynasty League. And it's a new startup, but following the same format and everything we know and love about the BDL. And I will say it's been going great. It's been more competitive than I thought it would be. There's been tons of buy-in by the franchise owners in that league. A little bit of growing pains and some people getting to understand the format of Dynasty football. But for the most part, it's been really fun. And as we kind of hinted to earlier, that league is wide open. No one has really clinched anything yet in that league. We have so many teams that are tied in the tops of their division. It's going to be fun to watch it come down to the end.
Definitely.
But yeah, so it's been going great. And we've all been having conversations about this throughout this season and just what that means and like how exciting it's been to see the league have a sister league. And
I mean, we all know. I don't know if the audience knows, but we started the sister league because of the waiting list for the BDL.
Right. We've had so many people who want to be a part of it, and I know we may not all agree in terms of the concept of how our dynasty operates. But I'm under the mindset that our dynasty is in a sweet spot that keeps it fun and competitive year after year for everyone who participates. And because of that, we always have people looking to be a part of these leagues.
Definitely.
Matter of fact, we now have a waiting list for the ADL.
And the BDL.
And the BDL. So
what can we do about that?
I know. So the 4 of us, this brain trust right here, we hang out every week doing this show for everyone. Well, something came out of that. Now, this is still an idea. There's a lot to be planned. However, I feel like we're more prepared to announce this than FC Cincinnati has been with them trying to get a stadium deal.
Soccer's lame. Soccer's the stupidest sport on the planet.
But the concept is we have a sister league, but what if we had a brother league and another sister league? Right? Maybe we have the big dynasty and the American dynasty leagues, but what happens is we had all of a sudden the National Dynasty League and maybe the Great Dynasty League?
Bang! 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 Dynasty leagues!
Bang!
Yes. Bang! Big American and National and Great Dynasty Leagues. We'd have 4 leagues. Each of those leagues continue operating how they are, right? They're independent. Things go on in their own leagues. Those leagues have their own individual champions. They have their own payouts and everything like that. But what would be fun is if we can incorporate a bang-off
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
every year.
We're talking about a big-time bang-off.
Petey, what do you think you would call that? What would it be?
I think we should call it a banger.
Oh,
An end of the year banger for the BDL family.
Yeah,
All
banging
right.
off our bangers.
So, what
Bang
the
on,
banger
banger.
would look like, you basically would have two teams represented from each of these leagues going into a separate yet simultaneous playoff.
Ooh.
It would be an 18 playoff,
All right.
and it would be based on, there are teams that go in there would be based on probably two different criteria. The one would be your number one seed from each league would be based on the best all play record for weeks 1 through 13. So we look at the all play stat, and whoever is top of the all play record will get the number one seed coming out of their league.
Now, the all play, if you're not familiar, is what your record would be if you played every single team every single week. So it'd be a real big number. It'd be like 112 to 55.
Very close. That's very close, actually.
I just made up numbers.
That's good.
That's a good guess.
Anyways,
So if you are the high score for the week, you just went 11-0. If you're the lowest score, you just went 0-11.
in the all play
So
record.
so the all play really in the all play exactly. And so the basis for the all play is it rewards week to week consistency, not just winning games by being the 8th highest score, playing the 11th highest score. This is week to week playing everybody who is truly the best team.
You know, so those weeks where you have like the third highest point scored in the week, but you played the first highest scoring point team, you still lost that week, but your all play, you still beat out like 9 other teams or something like that.
That's right.
So then the second seed from each division, or I should league, would be based on the stat we know and love of just most points scored. If you're the top point getter, you would be in the second seed. Now, if you are all play, winning the all play, and you're the top point getter, you would go in under the all play requirement.
The second most point scorer.
Then
would
the
then-
second most points scorer would get
Correct.
the next there. And so you would have this playoff, an 18 playoff, and so there'd be no buys for this. We'd start right away, and it would start simultaneously with our normal league playoffs. And we would track that, and at the end, we would have an ultimate champion in the Bang Dynasty League universe.
I like it.
So there's a lot to be worked out by this. Obviously, we'd want to grow a pot so that there's an ultimate payout for that other playoff there. But we think it'd be a fun and exciting way for us to keep our leagues that we are establishing unique and fun and of their own, but yet still have a way to incorporate everything as one big fantasy family.
Yeah, so
I like it.
like I said, we got a lot to figure out, like payouts, how we're going to get that extra money. We got some ideas on that. What we really
Nice
want to
idea.
do with this announcement is just have you start thinking of people that we would want. So what we need to do is we not only need to fill the 24 spots for the 2 new leagues, but we also have to fill 3 new spots in the ADL where the 3 of us are going to be in 2 leagues. Because at that point, since we could end up having to play each other if somehow we were both remarkable in every league, it wouldn't be fair. So we would bow out of 1 league. So we need 24 plus 3, 27. I didn't even take my shoes off, people.
That was really awesome.
I know.
Dude.
I'm getting good at this math thing.
Yes.
So give us your feedback, what you think, if you think of ideas to make it better, and more importantly, start finding people that you think would want to do it. Anything else on this idea?
We have a list of about 5 people already who are interested, but obviously that needs to grow. If we're going to do this, we want to commit to all of it. So if we want to do it, we want to fill those 2 other leagues, and we obviously want to have that started soon.
Yeah, very soon.
Start having
All
those
rolling.
teams, those leagues being built.
So get your feedback, send it in to us, send us people you think might want to be in it. But now, let's move on and take a look at next week's matchups of the week.
Matchups of the week.
All right, we got 2 matchup of the weeks to break down today, and we're going to start off with the matchup of the week from the BDL. We're going to go Skyline Chili Slingers owned by one Timmy Crawford, and Los Pandas Desnudo, owned by the Commish. Statman, give me the numbers.
I'm super excited about this matchup. Both teams are 6-7. Right now we got 4 teams tied at 6 and 7, battling for the last 2 spots. These are 2 of them. Very excited about this one. They played earlier this year. Commish probably doesn't want to really think about that one, as it was his lowest point total for the year so far. Scored less than 100 in that matchup. Chili Slingers got the best of them, so I know revenge is on the Commish's mind. But Los Pandas Desnudos has been coming on strong the last few weeks. Scored 152 last week, even though they lost. But this team, behind that duo of New Orleans running backs, Mark Ingram and Alvin Kamara, who you got in 2 separate trades with the same person, right?
Get off me.
That's crazy.
Get off me!
That's crazy. And now they are dominating the league. I like your chances in this one, Commish. What do you think?
I feel good about 2, but one thing that's always haunted me is the Skyline Chili Slingers. I am 1-6 versus that franchise all time in this league.
That's unbelievable.
Yeah, it really is. I don't know why, but the Slingers have always had my number. However, got to do a little bit of tinkering, but I think my team might be solid enough to pull off a victory in this week.
All right. Math Boy, who are you taking?
I'm taking Los Pandas Desnudos.
Statman, who you taking?
Los Pandas Desnudos.
Commish, let's make it official, even though I already know.
Taking Los Pandas Desnudos.
I'm taking the Skyline Chili Slingers. I apologize, Commish. I love you. I think you're both going to put up monster numbers, but I'm going with it, man. All right. Next up, we got the moment matchup of the week for the ADL. We got the Harry Berries, owned by one Allison Berry, and Big Ben's Love Child, owned by Jack Malott. Did I say that right? Myatt. Jack Myatt. I apologize, sir. But again, you're just a love child. You're not a real.
He's just a love.
Anyway, Math Boy, give us the math.
All right, so this is only deserving. Harry's Berries 9-4. Big Ben's Love Child 7-6, I believe. Going at it. Big Ben trying to keep his chances in the playoffs alive yet again. Last week got a big win, not starting a kicker and a defense, I think. I don't recommend it this week. Last time these 2 teams played, Harry Berries defeated Big Ben's Love Child by 2.26 points.
Wow.
Almost our 4th and final close shave of the week we need for my bet to win. But it wasn't.
It was almost where we were. But it wasn't. So, just got to see how these teams go. Again, Harry Berries has Mark Ingram on their team, tied in tandem with Todd Gurley.
Ooh.
So just as good as that Commish running back core you just heard about, and she's got Adam Thielen too.
Adam Thielen.
Yes.
I'm feeling it.
Who's not that great at football, as some might say, but I think he's fast, good at catching the ball, and makes touchdowns. So he's good at football.
It's a Harry Berry's signature team.
It is.
Which means it's all about the tight end play.
All about the tight ends.
She loves that tight end.
Gronk, Rudolph, and Winton all starting for the Harry Berries.
And, I really like this Big Ben Love Child team. Fitzgerald, Tyreek Hill, Jerick McKinnon, LaShawn McCoy. It's just these 2 teams have a lot of firepower. And I think it's going to come down to Monday night like it always does.
All right. Let's get them in. Commish, who you taking?
I'm calling the upset. Big Ben's Love Child.
Statman.
Harry Berries.
Math Boy.
I think I have to go with Harry Berries.
I'm going with my sister. She's family. I love her. It's Thanksgiving. All right. Now, let's get into the ultimate 2-minute drill. Doing both leagues. Start with the BDO. We got Wayne Enterprises versus Get Off Me. Commish.
Wayne Enterprises.
Math Boy.
Wayne Enterprises.
Statman.
Wayne Enterprises.
I'm taking Wayne Enterprises, which is our first double league sweep.
That is a full course sweep.
Woo. All right, next we got the Convicted Llamas versus the Cincinnati Bourbon Barons. Statman, who you taking?
The Llamas.
Math Boy.
Llamas.
Commish.
Llamas.
I'm taking myself because I believe in myself. I'm taking the Bourbon Barons. Next up, we got the EBDBB versus the Unseen Academicals. Let's start with Math Boy this time.
EBDBB&B.
Statman.
EBDBB&B.
Commish.
EBDBB&B.
I'm taking the EBDBB as well, which makes this a sweep. Next up, we got the San Francisco 69ers Yes, ladies and gentlemen, that is a sex joke. We apologize. Versus the Scarlet Pimps. Let's start with Statman.
69ers.
Math Boy.
69ers.
Kamish.
I'm calling an upset by the Pimps.
I'm going with the Niners. All right, next we got to the last BDL one. We got Mr. Clutch's fake football team versus Wet Stuff on your red stuff. I believe that second one is also a sex joke. Sorry again. Let's start with the Kamish.
Mr. Clutch's fake football team.
Math Boy.
Mr. Clutch's fake football team.
Kamish.
Mr. Clutch's fake football team.
Statman.
I'm going to say the Wet Stuff was a 1 week wonder. Going Mr. Clutch.
I'm taking Mr. Clutch as well, which makes this a sweep. Next up, we got, in the ADL, we have the Subliminal Criminals versus the Winterfell Dire Wolves.
Are we playing each other in 2 leagues this week?
We are. All right. It's going to get weird.
It's going
All right,
yeah,
Matt
weird.
Boy, who you taking?
Subliminal criminals.
Kamish.
Subliminal criminals.
Statman, help me out here.
Winterfell Dire Wolves.
That's what I'm talking about. I'll take it myself again because I believe in myself. Ooh. Next, we got the Fast and the Furious versus the Schmitty Jorgen Jagerman Jensen's, which now officially has the record for worst and the most annoying name to say in both leagues of history.
Why?
It is so annoying to say Schmitty Jorgen Jagerman Biffith.
He was number one.
Smitty Werber Jagerman Jensen.
All right, who are we taking? Statman.
Fast and the Furious.
Kamish.
Fast and Furious.
Math Boy.
Jim, I hope you like the note that I left on your desk. Fast and Furious.
I'm taking the Fast and Furious as well, which makes this a sweep. Next, we got the Mud Dogs versus the Mama's Boys. Mama's Boys, if you're out there and alive, please set your damn lineup. Statman, who you taking?
Mud Dogs.
Kamish.
Mud Dogs.
Math Boy.
Mud Dogs.
I'm taking the Mud Dogs as well, which makes this a sweep. Next up, we got the Red Squirrels and the Harrison versus the Harrison Bullfrogs. Brother on brother-in-law action. Who are you taking, Math Boy?
Bullfrogs.
Statman.
Harrison Bullfrogs.
Kamish.
Frogs are way better than squirrels.
I'm taking the Red Squirrels because it's family, baby. I love you, Morgan. I believe in you. Last matchup of the last match for this week in the Thanksgiving Fantasy Super Show, we have the Black Stags versus the Farty McFart Faces. Statman, who you taking?
The Black Stags.
Math Boy.
The Black Stags.
Kamish.
Taking myself, the Black Stags.
I'm taking the Black Stags as well, which makes this a sweep.
And Steven just won.
All right, ladies and gentlemen.
He always wins when we
Thank you for watching the Thanksgiving Fantasy Super Show. Please spend some time with your family this week, enjoying some meals, talking about what you're thankful for before you go out there into the craziness that is Black Friday and shopping and spending crazy amounts of money. Remember, Thanksgiving is all about family and being grateful. Also remember, the trade deadline is tomorrow at noon. Tomorrow being Wednesday at noon. I'll post this tonight.
The 23rd. Wednesday,
Yes.
November 23rd at
At
12
noon.
Trades
Has
have
to
to
be
be
submitted
accepted.
and accepted for it to count.
That's right.
Also, remember, as always, to set your lineups, have fun, and if you get hungry, eat something.
at Mike's Bodega.
That's right.
Happy Thanksgiving, everybody.